Youngster, this is Kuo Xing Shun, Taipei, 17 years of age, and when these categories were established way back in 1998, the first champion was a lifter from Taipei. Nice and quick, goes about her work very solidly.
We're on a roll here. You know, we've had a couple of evenings, couple sessions with a lot of misses. We've got 2 successful lifts in a row. Let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, just a few steps forward, but the rules say the feet must be still and they must be in line, and she complied with that. And as you would expect, Randy, I mean, that was a pretty comfortable first opener there.
Yeah, and the lifter can dance all over the platform if she'd like. She just ultimately has to stop, feet in line, wait for the down signal.
Kleinowska on again. At the height of her powers, well, she'd be lifting something like 97.5 when we had the half kilos. She's a triple Olympic representative. She competed in Sydney and then in Athens and in Beijing. And she is, I have to say, traditionally much stronger in the second half of the competition. Clean and jerk is where she has traditionally excelled. She won her world title, what would it be, 10 years ago in Antalya?
Exactly. Little adjustment, you can see it in the bottom position. Watch her hips move. That's to keep her body under the bar.
The great thing about having a lifter like Kleinowska in the squad still is what she can give to the new generation coming in.
And they have tremendous camaraderie in that team. They eat together, train together, walk around together, they're friends. Very clubby in a good way.
Yeah. It was great spirit. And, you know, I mean, they respect her now because, you know, she's got an awful lot of knowledge. They can't tell her too much, you know, what to do. They can be on her side, but she knows. But the good thing is you can see the support there. So, all the way from the Philippines, Hidilyn Diaz, just 20 years of age, and this is the young woman who went to Thailand and picked up the gold medal for the Asian Youth Championships. And achieved that with a 95 and then a 120, and then after that 215 kilos.
It's quite impressive from her age.
There is a mistake. Novikova add the flag to our country. Please. Okay.
Derecho a la extensión. Y va a brincar duro. Derecho.
I think it'll be a good lift. Let's watch this now in slow motion. Separates the bar from the platform, shrugs, and then reverses directions with her body, gets underneath, locks the bar out overhead. The bar has to go to straight arm extension in one smooth movement, otherwise the lift is turned down.
So, Heredia Jacqueline coming on to the stage. And looking to open up here on 92 kilos. Good for me.
Yeah, she seemed pretty happy with that. I mean, I almost thought she was going to stop while her thighs were above parallel, meaning power snatch this thing. Not quite, though, but you can see that to not push her to the limit. You know, just kind of put this in perspective. We're at about 200 pounds now, and these are still fairly small women, and in some cases young small women, and lifting weights that a lot of bigger guys would be happy to lift.
Yeah, this is 58 kilos, 128 pounds, a little bit over 9 stone, whichever way you like to count your money. And Kleinowska, this is for 3 out of 3, and this is, you know, her steady comeback. 88, 90, 92, but she'll push herself a little bit more in the clean and jerk. Just to put this in perspective, Li Shui Ying.
Oh, that's nice.
She'll be opening up on 103, but Kleinowska
3 in a row.
2-1. Well,
Yeah,
one of the referees.
Yeah, still passed. I didn't really see the infraction, but 3 good lifts. She got red lighted by one referee on this. Still a good lift.
Yeah, Randy, that was really difficult to spot. I mean,
might have been the left arm, did you think?
Yeah.
From our perspective, hard to spot, but it looked like might have been the left arm unlocking.
I mean, you know, watching it live here in the Dome, it's too hard from this distance to really see that. We're totally reliant, really, on the replays.
Right.
You know, unless it's a really big, obvious press out, and it certainly wasn't that.
We tend to think, too, if we didn't see it, it didn't exist. So.
And just to reiterate, 92 kilos, and Klinovska's been overturned. The jury have overturned it.
Yeah.
And that's not a very comfortable situation to be in when two referees get overturned like that.
Yeah. What happens in a nutshell is the referees are overseen by a jury. The jury, by majority vote, can overturn a referee's decision. This was split 2-1, but the jury said no left.
This is Quo on the stage, second attempt, 94. And that was better than the first one.
Yeah, she smoked it.
Yeah, much more fluent, but that's what happens. You get the first one in, you get the little butterflies and the nerves away, and then you can get on with your job.
If you execute it perfectly, your feet should pretty much stay where they are in terms of fore-aft position on the platform, up and down like a sewing machine needle, and that's what she was doing. She was not chasing the bar.
Interesting, what we're beginning to see is the new generation of lifters from Taiwan, Taipei, because the reality is that we've seen a lot of lifters who've, you know, given great service for over a long time, but we haven't seen this new generation until now. It's just beginning to come, and it may, to be honest, it's probably a generation that's going to be more hitting the headlines in Rio 2016 than it is in London 2012.
With the exception maybe the Chinese, because by then they'll be on to their next generation of superstars. But absolutely, what a place to have a coming out party.
So we now go to Thailand, Pimsiri Sikayan, just 21 years of age, the junior world silver medalist last year. .95 kilos, good start there from her.
Not lightning fast, smooth though, puts everything right where it should be, sinks the putt up, one step forward, good lift.
But this is the big improvement I was waiting to see, because this is a lifter who was 8th in the World Championships last year, and all last year she was really lifting around 89 and 90. Now she posted a total of the Thai lifter of 230, so that would tell us that she certainly believes in herself. So she's going from totals of 2.7 and 2.010 to 2.30. Now, People's Republic of Korea. Well, it's a very good white light board at the moment.
Yeah.
Just the one turnover that we've had.
Really keeps things moving. She's got quite a narrow grip. Flexible shoulders allows her to do that in right body proportions, but nice lift.
Still in the lead, the Albanian from the B group, Romela Begay, who picked up 100 kilos in this first half of the competition, and now we move across to Maria Escobar representing Ecuador. I said right at the beginning the Chinese have been dominant. Actually, the big hiccup in their rule of honor was Soraya Jimenez, who won the Olympic title in 2000 at Sydney, the first time women's weightlifting was introduced into the games.
Yeah, kind of came out of no place really quickly. Maybe a bit of a shooting star, but, you know,
yeah, almost
the right moment to shine.
Yeah, almost disappeared just as quickly.
Yeah.
So 95 kilos here. Now that's an important miss, because actually she's got light body weight. There are two lifters in here who've got 57.26. That's what they weighed in, and she's one of them. And that could be useful, but you've got to pick up the bar.
You can see how she just does not quite fix the bar overhead. Just cannot quite lock out the arms and have it solidly positioned overhead. So it comes crumbling down.
Missed the bronze medal last year by just 3 kilos. Doesn't sound a lot, but actually 3 kilos is quite a bit. but a chance perhaps today to put that to rights. Now, Yong Chi Chun Mi, two lifters from the People's Republic of Korea in the competition. And this young woman is the heaviest in tonight's competition at 57.86.
Might be wondering about the tape on her shins. That's because you want to keep the bar as close as possible, but you don't want it actually grinding off skin. She might be drawing blood, or she might just be trying to protect her shins. Boy, what a low position. You could see her hips almost touching the platform, which incidentally is cause for disqualification on a lift. Ideally, you'd like to be able to get as low as you could. Something like that position. Nice lift.
Romela Begay of Albania, that 100 kilos, it will keep her reasonably close to the action here.
Yeah. She's in the running for quite a while.
Quite possibly going to take quite a few scalps, but this is Diaz out again from the Philippines.
Nope. Well, you know, it's interesting. We see the guy so often at the European, just on name recognition. I was surprised she was in B session. But that's what happens when you have a big world championships. Things really get sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, on the entry totals, you can't argue, but, you know, she's total up 213, and the lowest total entered here was Kleinowska's of 218, and also Kuo of Taipei, 218. Yep. So on that basis...
Right. So what is an objective decision?
Heredia from Colombia. Got 92, going for 95. Now this will be a couple of kilos up on what she achieved in Antalya. She's a good junior lifter. She was a junior world champion in 2008 at 53 kilos. It's after that that she moved up to this weight category. Well done.
Big smile. She's happy with that. Well, she's got two good lifts. You know, she's looking good at this point. If you're new to weightlifting, there are two lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. This is the snatch. You get 3 attempts in each. That's why Dave and I keep emphasizing it's important to have successful lifts. You've only got 3 to work with in each lift. The best lift from the snatch, the best lift from the clean and jerk gives you the combined total.
Now, already under pressure here, this is Maria Escobar. Now, this is a lifter who last year was picking up 100 kilos, so 95, this should be well within her range, but she's had a setback and needs to really make this to keep herself in with some sort of a chance of a medal. Sounds strange to say that so early in the competition, but this is a tight field in terms of kilos, the spread between the athletes. It wasn't textbook, but it got the job done.
Yeah, because, you know, you said, well, we've got this obvious front runner, and you can't really argue with that. There would, even in that case, be a lot of competition for the other spots. I'm going to say, though, that if Novikova came in here in top shape, and if Li Zhizheng slips at all, Novikova could take that scalp. She's the only lifter that I can see with that possibility. I mean, she's going to have a day better than the day that we saw her have in Minsk. Remember when we had the pleasure of seeing her lift in Minsk? She had a high 230 total.
The good thing about Novikova is, and we'll talk about it when she arrives, is that she has a very high percentage of making lifts, and that's always good to have. Now we go back to the Philippines. Third and final attempt here for 95. Now this young woman did achieve this weight earlier this season when she took the gold in the Asian Youth Championships. Come on, now that's good. Really worked for that.
It's nice. She missed in our second attempt, had another shot, 3 white light success. Didn't look too happy walking off, probably saying to herself, well, why didn't I do that in the second attempt? That's her number, just fell off that you see on the platform.
In picture, that's Yulia Kalina from the Ukraine. Not due on quite yet, because here comes the young woman from Taipei. Now, you can see she's very quick about her work, very clear about what she wants to do. 96 kilos. Now, this is 4 kilos up on what she did in the Youth Championships. Again, another lifter who's moved up a weight category. And maybe that was a bit too quick.
Yeah, she doesn't really take a lot of time getting set over the bar. I mean, she walked in very purposefully, which was nice. I mean, it tended to suggest she was very confident. Did not linger over the bar at all. Well, on the one hand, didn't give her time to talk herself out of the lift. But when she misses it like that, you say, maybe slow down a little bit. Let's watch this very quick now. But she knew it just wasn't in position.
Well, it comes with age and experience. You have a certain style and methodology about the way you go about your work. And what happens is, as you gain more experience, you realize the circumstance you find yourself in, and you suddenly realize, well, actually, I'm going for a personal best here. Actually, they're pushing me, and I'm asking myself to do something I haven't done before, so maybe I just need to measure this a little bit. And that hasn't yet sort of filtered into her system.
Yeah, it seemed where I thought you were going to go with that thought was that you develop superstitious behavior. You get a little ritual. Like you're a pigeon who's been trained in a psych lab, and she maybe doesn't have her whole ritual down, or maybe 5 years from now we'll see she's doing the same thing, that this becomes her little ritual.
This is the mental flexibility that you have to have in this sport. You need to be able to adjust up here in your head as well as in your body. Now, Kalina. We're getting into the weights now where one or two of the Europeans might fancy their chances against the Asians, but it's the Asians who still have the edge. But Kalina, 97 kilos. Good start, but still nobody has gone past that B group lifter with 100 kilos, Romela Begay, who, as you say, is a familiar face to us in European championships.
In weightlifting, we talk about the second pull, which is what happens above the knees. You can see it right there. You can see her pushing her hips forward, the knees bend again, and big acceleration of the bar. Got a great shot of that in that attempt.
So Cuesta out for 97 kilos. So Kalina's actually in second place now, whereas Heredia, who's coming out weighed in at 57.52, so she's lighter, so this would take her into the lead momentarily, or I should say would take her from third to second. This is a new personal best attempt.
Oh, close. There's such a small margin for error in the snatch. We've mentioned adjustments with the lifter's hips in that bottom position. Let's see this from the side. We're going to get a great sense of what's going on here. Looks like she's saving it. Oh, she's rocking back, trying to save this, trying to save it. And good she lets it go. If she hangs on too long, an arm can go at the elbow. From the front, I didn't have that sense that she was being pushed back that much.
Here's the outstanding athlete of the class, Li Shuixing, the world champion of a couple of years ago, and she has a fantastic record, which we'll get to when we see her. And the bar going to 98 kilos, incidentally. The Chinese have got so much talent. They've got a reservoir of athletes who they can call upon for this particular weight class at 58 kilos. It was Chen Yangqing who won the Beijing title with 244 kilos, which was the heftiest total in the history of these competitions at world or Olympic level since 1998. Zhu won it in... Chen Jiangqing also won it in 2004. She defended the title. But this is Escobar with 45 seconds. And once again, the audience recognizing that a little support is needed here. 98 kilos. Any chance of a bronze medal really depends, I'm talking overall, on this. Got to make this. Well, she's just made the job harder, Randy, because she's got good numbers in the clean and jerk, but you just can't live or allow yourself to have too much to catch up, and that's unfortunately what's happened to her.
Yeah, she's crushed by this. She knows how costly this mistake was, and she knew at that moment she had lost the lift and would not be able to save it. And you just can't give up a lot of kilos here in the first stage of this race, the snatch.
Now, this is the woman from Thailand who I said, I put a question mark on my little notes here saying big improvement needed. Last year, 210. This year, looking for 230.
Yeah, that is big, huh? And this is the limit, I guess.
Yeah, so this is sort of 99 kilos is 9 kilos up on where she has been throughout 2010. This is a 4 kilo increase at this moment.
Fully warranted, we can see.
And again, the Thai women's squad, another squad where a lot of experienced athletes can really help the new generation. And as you see, Yulia Kalina coming out, just reflecting on the likes of Pavina Thongsuk. They don't come much better than her in Thai weightlifting. And she can help a lot with this new generation. Now, Kalina coming out on 100, and this is where it gets interesting, because Begai weighed in at 57.32. Now we have a lifter who is going in here at 57.62. So even if she lifts this, she can't quite get to the lead, but she'll be at least equal on kilos. She has another attempt.
Didn't really look heavy for her. Of course, that's easy for me to say. Just a little bit out front. You know, this snatch from B session's looking better and better and better, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know the big guns haven't really come out yet, but it's showing that 100 really counts for something in this bodyweight class.
Yeah, I mean, what's also interesting is the fact that Begai, who got that snatch, actually then in the clean and jerk missed 2 of them and was left on 113 kilos. So
yeah,
another 3 kilos would have given her 216, which shouldn't be enough to win.
Yeah. You know, we mentioned the second pull a little earlier tonight. That's what the coach here on her right was demonstrating to her, saying, want to see some real acceleration when the bar's about hip height, and he's telling her, get those arms out really fast. It's as if you're trying to stretch the bar. It's not really that you're pushing up, it's more that you're stretching the bar to fix it overhead. That was Dennis Godfrey, too, also on the screen. Great lifter from the Ukraine, years past.
45 seconds, she's got all the time she needs.
Well, the pep talk and the instructions helped. There's that second pull. Feet came way off the platform. Not something you want to do. Sometimes it just happens, and she's relieved. Good lift.
Could be the start of Nastasia Novikova from Belarus. First attempt.
Yeah, we saw her briefly on camera in between attempts. So knew she was ready to come out soon.
So now, Europe's #1, Nastasia Novikova of Belarus. And this is the woman who has taken 3 European titles in a row. She was runner-up in the World Championships in 2009 and again in 2010.
One of the podium favorites tonight.
So this for the outright lead at 101 kilos.
Looked pretty easy.
Well, as we always say, the first one should be. So she pushes down Romela Begay into silver medal position at the moment. So Yo Pok Hyang, 101, and that was never going anywhere. Interesting. I just wanted to reflect on Begay, you know, who's just been pushed down into second place. She no-totaled in Antalya and then no-totaled in Kazan at this year's European Championships. And I'm now, you know, thinking maybe they were conscious of definitely put her in the B group where she's not so exposed and see what she can do. Some coaches think that is a way of taking pressure off.
She might just be a little bit of a wild child, mean that in a positive way. Hot or cold, you know, can do some good lifts, but can also miss in between.
Yeah, I mean, she was second in Europe in 2010. She was just outside the overall medals in 58 kilos in 2009.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this. Whoa. She should get bonus points for the effort, not to mention the gymnastics that she went through to save that lift.
But she hasn't been given out.
Yeah, she kept the bar red, 3 red lights. Arm's probably going to unlock, but you'll see she shifts to the side, she twists her knees, all in an effort to keep this bar overhead. That's a matter of keeping the body under the bar in the right alignment. Watch what happens when the bar goes overhead. Okay, the right arm. But look at this, look what she's going through to save this lift. This is in slow motion, so you know how much time this is in real time. Keeps it overhead the whole time. No quit in these North Korean lifters.
Yeah.
Look at this. Great shot from overhead. Look what she's got. Boy, I feel sorry for her knees. Mine would ache.
Yeah, and
if
you can see the press out there actually.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But gutsy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So there are 2 People's Republic of Korea athletes, and this is 101 for Yo Pok Hyang. Coming out here now, junior world silver medalist. Now, she got 95, missed 101, and missed 101 again.
We continue. 101 kilo. A third attempt for.
And Lee Shui Ying yet to come out. She posted 103. Interesting, the Thai lifter has posted 102 for her third attempt. So the lifts are running out here. Novikova has posted 104 for her second attempt. So Yong Chun Mi now hasn't had much time to recover, but has plenty of time now to settle now. Locking on to the bar. Needs to go through that familiar routine.
Yeah. Probably swung the bar. She might have gotten a little anxious, not in the nervous sense, but trying, getting ahead of herself on this lift and thinking, maybe didn't quite have the elevation on the last attempt. I'm going to really bang my hips in her, and that'll swing the bar, which means it's going to go backwards over your head. You're going to miss the lift.
Bar goes to 102 kilos. Pimsiri Sirakai of Thailand to come out 95, 99, 102. These are excellent new marks for her. This will be 3 out of 3. She's looked very good in the first 2 examinations. Now, can she complete the hat trick? And as the TV graphic said, this will take her into the lead. Take her ahead of Novikava. She's behind at the moment Romela Begai of Albania, who lifted earlier in the day so well. That's a real pity. I mean, she's been going into new... Well, apologies for the loss of commentary from Randy and myself. We just had a power outage. But you're on stage now with Li Shui Ying, the outstanding champion who's just had an outstanding failure. But puts it right at the second attempt.
Yeah, you know, kind of funny, isn't it? I mean, our power went out. She lost power. He lost of an attempt. But look, pops right back in this, the mark of a champion. I was shocked when she missed that opener.
Yeah, hopefully you saw that at home. I think it was just a local problem with us here, so apologies about that. But you're looking at a woman who's just 21 years of age, won the world title in 2009, didn't defend it last year because she went to the Asian Games to get the Asian Games title and then took the Asian Championship. So now Novikava coming out, and this has opened the door for her a little bit because this is 104 kilos. So there's a turnaround and a change around here.
She's shadowing the Chinese opponent because she's heavier, so she's going to match her +1 kilo. That's the theory. Now, in practice, to make it work, you have to lift the weight.
It is a weight that she's lifted in competition before, so it's not anything that she would be fearful of.
So now they've both got a miss. Right, now we'll see whose nerves are stronger as well as who's got the stronger legs and back.
And the important thing, just to reiterate here, that it's between these two women for gold and silver in the snatch, but Begai, who lifted earlier in the B group, has got the bronze medal in the snatch. That's now
How do you like
confirmed.
That? Yeah, so halfway through we were saying, oh, it looking better and better, and now it's looking really good.
Well, I think if you remember, I suggested that I thought she might be up there and take quite a few scalps. So, I mean, it's interesting here what's happening, because this has now become into a duel that perhaps the Chinese didn't think they'd find themselves in. I mean, this is a remarkable athlete, this Chinese athlete.
Yeah.
If I look back at all her major competitions since 2007, in that year she won the junior world title. She won the Asian Championships in 2008, the world title in 2009, the Asian Games in 2010, and then the Asian Championships this year. I mean, it's just a huge unbeaten run. It's a real gold run.
And they're all totals, I believe, in the high 230s, whereas if memory serves me right, Novikov has only been in that territory once that I can think of, and that's
twice, actually.
Well, in the high 230s. Wasn't she low 230s once also?
Well, 233 last season.
Yeah, low. Yeah, but and she hit a 238 or something
in the Europeans in Minsk.
Exactly, and that's the one time that I've seen her in those waters.
Well, appropriately, it was on her own stage in Belarus.
I didn't want to say that. It's frozen in my memory.
Well, a little earlier, Randy, I was saying that, you know, the one thing that this woman traditionally has had on her side is high percentage lifting.
Yeah.
I mean, the last two major championships,
right, you did say that, yeah.
5 out of 6.
Как не чухаешь? Что? Так ты руками вот и хватаешь, потому она не идет.
So, the bar now, 108.
So now all of a sudden that miss, which seemed to be something that would loom large, has basically disappeared from the radar screen.
It's a big miss by Novikova because this gives Liu Shuiying the opportunity to go away from Novikova.
Right, I'm sorry, I meant Li Juveng's miss on her first attempt, which I thought was going to be so significant. It disappeared. Novikova did the work for Li Juveng by missing twice.
Absolutely. However, were she not to make that, the gap would only be 2 kilos.
Whoa, and she didn't. She is lighter though too, right?
Yeah, but just at the moment, getting good lifts in is slightly more important than the weight issue.
Yeah, so who was the brilliant analyst who said, well, you know what, Novikova could give her a run for the money. Don't just hand her the gold medal at this point.
So suddenly we find ourselves in an interesting situation here because what's happened is that the Chinese lifter who just failed there, Li Shuiying, is the gold medalist in the snatch race. She has 103 kilos. And then you've got Novikova, who's got the 101, and then you have Begai from the B group, who's got 100. She can't do anything about it because she's just in the wings and saying, well, I've got 213, let's see where that takes me. But in 4th place in the ranking, you then drop down to 97 kilos. So that's a 5 kilo break down to Yulia Kalina. So what started off on paper as being quite a competitive competition with just a 22 kilo spread, through a lot of red and a lot of failures on 2nd and 3rd attempts now, has actually given the former champion Li Shuiying a little bit more of a comfortable ride. But just how much has her confidence been dented by those 2 failures?
Yeah, you know, I don't know about the comfortable ride because, you know, some people thought she would basically have this race to herself. In fact, her own undoing has put her in this position. She has 2 misses, right? And even though Novikova also had 2 misses, she's not going into the clean and jerk, I don't think, in the position they anticipated she would be in at this point in the game.
No, and I mean, you know, she's posted 130, which is way ahead of pretty well everybody else. I mean, there's a 125 from Novikova, there's a 125 from Yong Chun Mi, but she's too far back in terms of overall to worry the Chinese lifter. So, actually, unlike yesterday's sensational 53 kilo championship where you were spotting an extraordinary athlete in Zulfira Shinshanlo of Kazakhstan. I mean, extraordinary. I've not seen anybody with the strength in the quads that woman has got in the women's division. I mean, she is in a class of her own there.
Well, you know, the thing that really I have in my mind was the way when she came out for, this is a 3rd attempt, 130 kilogram, senior world record attempt. She stops, she smiles and waves to the crowd before the attempt. I thought, boy, is this the height of cockiness or just confidence? Well, it was completely warranted. She made the lift very easily. To this point about the leg strength, stood up as if the bar were empty. And then it came out in the press conference. Indeed, it was warranted because she's done 139 in training. You know, I wonder if we're going to see her opener go down here because she missed the first snatch. I wonder if the Chinese team will move the clean and jerk opener down. Novikova, I think in the Belarus camp, there's probably not a lot of happiness right now.
Just under 7 minutes to go till the